Back in the PlayStation's heyday, Wild Arms was a breakout success on both sides of the pond. Its unique Western setting, anime cinematics, and for the first time anywhere, 3D battles, struck a chord with role-playing fans anxious for how RPGs would look and feel in 3 dimensions. Since then, there have been mediocre sequels for both the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Now on its 10th anniversary, the series is ready to reclaim its stake with Wild Arms 5. An evolved battle system and a playful anime presentation give it ammunition to work with. But is the end result good, bad, or just plain ugly? The 5th installment of the series sees players once more in the homeworld of Filgaia, where wild ambitions abound. Dean Stark is a brazen lad set on becoming a golem hunter, an adventurer archaeologist of sorts, specializing in the hunt and discovery of ancient technology. His career aspirations hit home a little earlier than expected when a mysterious amnesiac crash lands before him, clenched between the fingers of a giant golem. Her name is Avril, and she knows nothing of her past or purpose. Her only lead is the enigmatic name Johnny Appleseed. All too eager to leave his nest in search of adventure, Dean volunteers to assist Avril in her pilgrimage for the mysterious man.
I guess a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do!
Much like its predecessors, the story in Wild Arms 5 takes up the mantle of a Wild West epic soaked in fantasy and steampunk motifs. Though the plot and its characters never quite reach the sincerity of a true Western, the playful anime package, its tongue-in-cheek humor, romantic angles, and the occasional clever quip make for a lighthearted tale.
There! A big guy with a mustache!
What?
Players won't find anything remarkably new when it comes to towns, leveling up, or traveling across the dusty plains of Filgaia, but Wild Arms 5 inserts a novel approach to character building and dungeon crawling that borrows elements from a number of games in and out of the genre. Party members, by themselves, are blank slates, but equipping them with a medium gives them the power to draw upon their force powers. These mediums are the equivalent of classes, with each medium catering towards a certain specialty, be it melee combat, magic casting, or healing. Each level up garners GC points, which are then spent towards learning new abilities associated with that medium. Caution is usually exercised when doing so because points spent whittle away your maximum hit points. This allows players to find their comfort zone with HP and skills, making for variable on-the-fly difficulty. Dungeon running in Wild Arms 5 takes on a platforming element, swapping conventional puzzle solving with a healthy dose of switch hitting, block pushing, and pistol shooting. Along with jumping, stomping, and sliding, Dean is able to quick draw his trusty arms in the field map and shoot. This shooting mode is the focal point of dungeon progression. Switches and levers are often too far away to hit manually and have to be shot. Alternatively, some obstacles require Dean to toggle the special bullet types found in the world to manipulate the environment. Equipping the freeze ray and shooting at shaky passes or streams of water, for instance, solidifies them in a Metroid-esque manner. In terms of immediacy, Wild Arms 5 delivers. There are little complications to sort through with equipment and abilities, and the tactile, action-oriented pace of dungeon running and exploration is a nice touch that gives players more to do when they're not in battle. The pacing of the game is quick and accessible, further motivated by the battle system it implements.
Gotcha!
Making a return from Part 4 is the grid-based hex battle system, which randomly places your party and enemies among a series of 7 hexagonal spaces. The tactical design of this grid implicates a number of things, including range, positioning, and terrain conditions. Most characters and enemies attack from a melee range, and thus need to be positioned directly adjacent to a foe on the grid to initiate the attack. However, some characters, like the buxom beauty Rebecca and lone desperado Greg, can pop caps in a direct line from afar, giving you several options to scamper about the map. Likewise, the enemy can often launch volleys from afar with the same result, which makes positioning essential. Party members and enemies can't mingle on a hex, but they can cohabitate with their compadres at any time. Sometimes this is ideal, as casting a spell on a hex with multiple party members heals everyone in that hex. However, staying in the same hex makes whatever members that reside in it vulnerable to all attacks that land there. Enemies and bosses hurt, so it's usually not wise to stay in any given place for too long. Luckily, you can put on the hurting too with elemental and force attacks. Casting spells from elemental hexes called lay points imbues your attack with that particular element, making it useful for picking at enemy weaknesses. Likewise, standing on a lay point gives you an elemental vulnerability and strength. Dealing and taking damage fills the force meter, and players can then draw upon force powers correlated to their medium or team up for a flashy, powerful, and skippable animated attack sequence. When all said and done, players get their experience points, and oddly enough, they're missing hit points at the end of battle, but don't mistake this concession for ease. Battles occur at breakneck speed, where one misplaced party member could mean instant death within a turn or two. And while you may be fit as a fiddle for the next battle, magic points remain spent, and your force meter depletes whether you use it or not.
Can't we fight someone with a little more bite?
This odd mix of give and take actually makes for a convenient and balanced experience. Players will never experience the hang-ups of going to the menu and curing themselves after every battle before trudging off again. And the grid-based hex system keeps things lively with a persistent do-or-die attitude. It's flexible, fun, and fast, something that not many RPG combat systems can attest to. Where previous titles wavered more towards the appeal of a dusty Wild West effect, Wild Arms 5 kicks it into Technicolor overdrive with a host of fluorescent anime designs suitable to the bubbly and melodramatic tones its story sets. The look fits. The personality of the game and its characters is especially brought out in the unique force arts, which are like prismatic punches to the face with their outrageously elaborate attack sequences. The backgrounds haven't quite received the same attention to detail as the characters, but overall, Wild Arms 5 provides an exciting style that stands toe-to-toe with its peers. Wild Arms hasn't always been one of the more popular titles on the market, but gamers willing to give the 5th installment a shot will find it to be one of the better RPG experiences on the PlayStation 2. On its 10th anniversary, the series has managed to come up with its biggest and brightest entry yet, with a stock of engaging battles, quirky cutscenes, and slick shooting.
Don't hate me!
Role-playing nuts panning the PS2's drawing river of games would be foolish to pass up this nugget.
To be honest, I'm more nervous than excited.